Welcome back to the last part of the lesson where we wrap up everything that we have learned on the excretory system. Okay, here we are going to remind ourselves what we learned regarding the 5 concepts that we looked at relating to the excretory system. So we were able to provide a description on the excretory system, and we said that it is a system that helps remove metabolic waste. It is made up of the kidneys, ureter, the bladder, and the urethra. We looked at the function of the excretory system as a whole, and we also looked at other excretory organs, but only touched on those lightly. But our focus for this lesson was on the excretory system involving the kidneys, ureter, bladder, and the urethra. We looked at the components of the excretory system, as well as their importance, by mainly focusing on the function of each component of the system. We also looked at the main processes that are involved in the excretory system, and we know that we looked at 4 processes, and those were namely filtration, absorption, diffusion, and lastly excretion. We also looked at health issues related to the excretory system. Here we looked at what could go wrong if you are not doing things like drinking enough water. We were able to see that you could develop kidney stones in your kidneys that could or will block the ureter, and you will have difficulties with passing urine down. We also came across new words and new terms. We came across the word absorption, and we know that it is a process that is related to the excretory system. Here, it is a process in which the products of digestion are absorbed by the blood to be supplied to the rest of the body. We also looked at another process, which is excretion. We know that it is the removal of waste products from the body. We looked at another process called filtration. This happens when substances are separated from one another using a filter. And then we looked at metabolism. Here, all the chemical reactions in the body are referred to as metabolism. We looked at the bladder, ureter, and urethra, which are organs of the system. And we know that the bladder is a balloon-like sac that stores urine. The ureter is a duct that joins the kidney and bladder, allowing urine to pass from the kidney to the bladder. So we know it's a duct, it joins the kidney and bladder. Okay, and we know that urine will pass from the kidney to the bladder. And then lastly, we looked at the urethra. This is a thin tube-like structure that allows urine to flow from the bladder to the outside. Okay, now we have common errors. You must just make sure that you remember that there is a difference between the 2 concepts, egestion and excretion. When we define egestion, okay, we already know that egestion relates to the digestive system. So what happens during the process of egestion? Here you have undigested solid waste that is removed from the body. And then you have the process of excretion, which is what we looked at today. This is the process where metabolic waste is removed from the body. So we learned that it can happen through the skin, through exhalation. It can also happen through urination. Okay, so for the challenge, you have a little scenario, and the scenario reads as follows. A patient is suffering from kidney failure. The blood is diverted through a dialysis machine. How do you think the dialysis machine functions? That is it from our lesson today. I hope that you have learned a lot and were kept interested and fascinated by the lesson. I will see you some other time. Goodbye.